Hey YouTube, it's Gavilan Ord here with another how-to video on a Star Wars diorama. Today we're going to be looking at how I did the Endor forest battle in Return of the Jedi. What you're looking at here in front of you is one of the shelves that I have. I have a large 5-shelf bookcase that I created, or I built myself, and this is the 5th shelf that I'm going to be doing the Endor battle diorama. So let me show you how I did it. So what we're looking at right here is, again, this shelf is the bottom shelf. It is 10 foot long by 16 inches deep. So that kind of gives you a general idea of what you're looking at. The background here is something that I created in Photoshop. If you're interested in, I'd be happy to email this JPEG to you. First step that I need to do is I need to paint the surface brown. And black just will not do. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm also going to light it. So I'm going to be actually putting up this right here. So this is a 15-foot strip of LED lights. It's warm white. I bought it off of eBay. It's like $3 for 15 feet. I bought 2 of them just in case I need extra lighting. Again, it's warm white. I will have to power it. I did buy it with a little power adapter, but I'll show you how I do lighting and things like that later. So this is a really economical way to light your dioramas and light your shelves. I highly recommend it. Bought it from China. Just make sure you get good feedback on the seller. Just again, feedback is key. Over 99% positive. Just my recommendation. So I'll be lighting it, painting it, and then we'll come back and take a look at it. Okay, so we're back, and I've completed the paint job as well as applied the LED light strip, and this is what it looks like. So you can see that it has perked up the shelf quite a bit. The paint that I use is just a nice light tan. It's going to be the base of the forest floor. You won't see very much of it because the moss and rocks and such is going to be covering it, but again, it's just the base layer that will show if you don't see rocks and all that other good stuff. The LED light strip, you can kind of see it's nice and applied right there. So the next step here is going to be to essentially choreograph the diorama. That means I'm going to go forward and apply or place all the figures on the shelf and decide what scenes I want to recreate. I'm not going to show that portion because you're going to see it at the very end. But what I'm going to show you is how I'm going to create the trees and the foliage and all that good stuff so you can try to do this on your own. Just to give you a general idea, though, how this is going to be, I'll place the Endor bunker here. This is something that I created in an earlier video. If you want to check through my videos, you'll see that. Full credit goes to Budget Jedi. He's the guy who originally created this particular type template. So check out his original video. But you'll see it's going to go really nicely. We'll have maybe some speeders here, some different battling. I'm really excited to see how it's going to look. So let's go ahead and let's look at how we're going to create the foliage and the trees. And here I am at my terribly messy workstation starting the redwood tree process. So to create the redwood trees, I'm going to be using cardboard tubing. Different sizes of cardboard tubing are important, I think, to create a forest that looks natural, so different sizes of trees. And then redwood trees, they do taper as they go up, so they get skinnier as they go up to the top, and I wanted to make sure that that was reflected here. So I just cut a gap at the very top and then cut it slender down like that, and then just use masking tape to bring it together at the top. Then I use a little bit of spray adhesive to spray very lightly each one of the cardboard tubes because I'm going to be applying this Drydex spackling on it, and I want that to stick. So you can kind of see one of the final products here. This is again, the Drydex spackling goes on, and then while the Drydex spackling is still wet, I used this little toy scalpel. It's not sharp at all or anything, to create the striations in the bark. And you can kind of see here the effect that you get. And then I just use a wire brush at the end to clean it all up and get some of the finer striations in there. So I'll be doing that with all the trees, and then we'll be off to painting. Alright, before we get to more painting with regards to the redwood trees, I wanted to talk a little bit about pine trees. So one thing that I don't see in a lot of Endor dioramas are pine trees, and I know that redwood forests do have pine trees. So I went ahead and made some, about 11 of them right here. If you want to see exactly how I made these, please click on the link in the description below, and you can pretty much see the template that I followed, but I did make some very significant differences or changes in terms of what he did, because I didn't want to wrap that much wire around one dowel. It's a lot of wire. So go check that out. Come back here and let me show you what I did in terms of the differences. All right. So what I did is I took a dowel. This is about 12 inches long. I made different heights of dowels. I whittled it to the end to make a tip. I used a table saw, or you can use a sander or just a knife to whittle it. And then about right here, I took a marker and made a little mark, twisted the dowel, went up a little bit, made a mark, twisted the dowel, made a mark, and just kept going all the way up to the very top until I made little marks all the way to the top. Then I took a 1/16 inch drill bit with a regular power drill, and I drilled the holes at each one of those marks. And I drilled it at an angle like this, okay? I did not go straight across like this. And I did it like this is because it made it a much more realistic looking pine tree in terms of the branches. It's much more organic looking. So you drill angle and you just go all the way up to the very top. I did put a couple of supplementary holes in there where areas I thought it was kind of bare. And then I took a 18 gauge aluminum craft wire and I inserted it into the holes. I cut it so that it was wider at the bottom and the branches were smaller at the top. And then I glued it in, and then pretty much that was it in terms of the changes that I made. Then I followed the template instructions from the guy in the video. One thing I should note is that I used 2 kinds of flock, not 3, which is what he did, because flock is very expensive. It's about $10 a bag. So it was plenty, 2 bags of flock, one 3mm and one 6mm flock was perfect for what I made here. And I used little crafting sticks for the bases, and I use a glue gun or hot glue to attach them. So I'm really happy with the way they turned out. I love the distressed tree. That looks really good. So anyway, there you go, and I'll insert those into the diorama later. Okay, in this next section, I'm going to tackle flora and fauna. Here's the approach that I've decided to go with. So I'm going to use some of this stuff here. It's called Floral Arranger. You could find it at the dollar store for really cheap, just big blocks of it. And I'm going to take it and I carved it into different chunks. You're going to see that's all it is. Then I use a brown paint wash to paint it the base color. And then I'm going to take just some glue, and I'm just using Elmer's glue here. You can use any glue you want. I'm going to cover it, and then I'm going to use this stuff here. This is called orchid bark, and this is just some moss stuff you can get at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. You can get to see the packaging there. It's called orchid bark, and this is called just the moss collection. Then I'm gonna cover it with the moss and the orchid bark. Then I'm gonna take these bits here, and these are just plastic pieces off of fake flowers there at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. I got a couple different kinds. I did have to bend them a little bit with some heat in order to get them to look more natural. Yeah, every single one. It was horrible. And then I just take it and I used dip it in a little bit of glue, and then I just poke it into there in a circular fashion to make it look natural. And then this is kind of the result that I've gotten up to this point. So you can kind of see what I'm shooting for here. And it'll be all different kinds of shapes and sizes. And then I'll just insert this into the diorama in ways that hopefully will work really nicely. So that's my approach for the ferns and things like that there on the Endor forest. So again, you'll see this a little bit later. So let's keep going. All right, another mid-project update. So I took some time out and I mossed the logs that I want to be using, the different broken down trees in the diorama. Put some pine needles, model pine needles there. And to get this effect, I used some woodland scenics, blended turf and coarse turf. And then for the pine needles, and as well as the base or the flooring of the forest, I'm using some coconut husk. I just ripped it up, cut it real fine, and then I tinted it a little bit brownish red with some spray paint. And then underneath that, I've got a layer of moss I'm going to be spreading with it. So that'll be, again, the floor of the forest. And then I also found this cool rock. I think it's petrified algae, as I recall. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to make a little mound for it, put some moss and some cool effects on that. And then I also have some These are the branches that will be coming off the top of the redwood trees. So the redwood trees at the very top have a little bit of greenery. So that's what those are. But anyway, that's where we are in the project. So let's get on to the next step. To add some additional terrain layering, I'm going to add some trees that I made, as well as I mossed some rocks that I had found. Again, using the Woodland Scenics fine turf, and this is the Woodland Scenics coarse turf. What works really great for these little trees are dead pine bush branches. They're really intricate, and they're going to work just really fantastic, I think, with regards to adding some additional foliage in the forest. Remember, forests are very dirty, very messy, lots of little things. So the more layering you can add, the better. And another thing that I wanted to add were vines. So as you recall from Return of the Jedi, the little Ewok, he grabs the vine as he's speeding away on his speeder. There's lots of vines and different things like that. So I made these out of Spanish moss. I took Spanish moss and I straightened it. I soaked it in water. And then I laid them out to dry and made these really nice long vine things. So those are going to go up to create, again, another layer of foliage and realism to the diorama. Okay, after much toiling and mossing and paint layering and branching and leafing, I finally got the redwood trees completed. So the paint that I ended up on, it's difficult because some redwood trees are red, some are kind of grayish, some are a mix. So this was kind of the color that I settled on, and I think I like it. I think it'll look nice in the diorama. In terms of how I got it, I just used a base of like a dark brown, and then I brought it back up with some grays and whites. Then I used like an orangish red, or kind of the same color that I used for the base of the diorama. And then I just used that in combination with some bark brown crafting paint. I always use wash. That's very important. I never just painted it. I always would thin it out and wash it on in layers. And this is the ultimate result. So I'll kind of give you a quick shot of some of the base. Again, this is just some of the Woodland Scenics coarse and fine turf. That's how I got some of the effect there. And then let me bring up one of the trees. And you can see the final effect of the bark. So again, it looks really nice, very organic. Again, I didn't do anything special. It's not like I carved this by hand. I just lickety-split went through with that blade and then just used a wire brush. And again, it just it came out really organic looking. So very pleased with how that turned out. And for the branches, I just used, again, dead pine bush, which was really good. And then the leafing is just some evergreen leafing that you can get like at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. So we'll put those into the diorama and yeah, keep it going. So I am going to hang speeder bikes in my Endor diorama. I know a lot of you guys are hesitant to hang those because it can kind of look kind of fakey. Fishing line is still kind of viewable. But let me offer you an alternative, a really cool alternative. It's called, let's see, what is this? Nylon transparent. And it's this super thin thread. My wife just happened to have some lying around, bless her heart. I didn't even know such a thing existed. Very cool. And I'm filming in high def right now, and it's very difficult to see it. I can't even see it with the naked eye really right now until I get up close to it. And then, yeah, you can kind of catch it here and there, but boy, is it hard to see. So forget fishing line. Don't be afraid to hang stuff in your dioramas anymore. Use this nylon transparent. It is just fantastic. So just a quick tip if you want to suspend things in your diorama. All right, folks, we're getting really close to the end now. Just wanted to show you what I did to the figure stands. So I'm going to use figure stands. And what I did is I painted, I had black ones and I painted them brown. And then I just glued some of the terrain on there. So we'll see how that looks and how that blends in. I hope it looks all right. All right, project update. The forest floor is complete. And the forest itself is pretty much done. I don't have any figures yet. Of course, they got the Ewok up there right now. And I also have, that's where the explosion is going to be, or one of them. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. But I put the coconut husk down. I put some, sprayed some water on the coconut husk and moss mixture to mat it down, give it a nice matted look. I still have to finish the front here. But this is pretty darn close to what we'll see in the final product once we put figures and some other finishing touches, the vines, etc. in. So yeah, let's keep her going, see if we can get it done. Okay, so the last piece of the puzzle are going to be the lighting effects or explosions I'm going to be putting into the diorama. And here's how I'm going to do it. So I bought 10 of these. It's a little pack of 10. They're 50/50 LED lights. These are cool white. I bought a pack of 10 for about $6 from a Chinese seller on eBay with good reputation. And then I bought 10 of these little connectors that they plug into, and those were like $2 for a pack of 10. So it's insanely cheap for these lights. And then what I'm going to do, or what I did, is I'm going to take this. This is milk jug or milk carton material, just kind of semi-translucent. And then I made a little disc, and I'm a little notch in the back, and I'm going to put that over the top of the LED light like that. And plug this in, of course, and wire all that in. Then I'm going to take these little balls here. I made this out of pillow stuffing material. And I'm going to glue that to this all over the place. Make a little mushroom cloud type of thing. And then once that's done, I'm going to paint it, a combination of red and orange, and then put some black highlights. Then I bought some of this, and this is fiber optic strands. Super cheap. I bought like a bundle of 42 strands, a foot long. This is like 6 inches. What you've got here in front of you for like $2. And then these are going to be the sparks coming out of the explosion. So what it looks like ultimately here, and let me pull this over. This is kind of what it looked like painted, and you can kind of see generally what we're going to do. Again, this is going to go over the LED light like that, and then the sparks are going to go kind of coming out of it like that. You can kind of get a general feel for what that's going to look like. And so, yeah, I hope that'll kind of add a really nice dynamic effect. That's how I did the explosions. So I think we're just about done. Let's go check it out. All right, after months of planning and weeks of work, more hours than I care to count, the diorama is finished. Let's check it out. All right, and we'll do a sweep through as well. Let's go ahead and start from the right, and we'll just kind of go through and see what's happening. All right, again, you can kind of see the culmination of everything that was done. The little trees, the forest flooring, the pine trees, it's all come together. The vines, the redwoods. Here we got, I love this little Ewok right here in the corner. He's celebrating with his new blaster. Here we've got some stormtroopers and scout troopers engaged with a rebel trooper. Happy with the explosions in terms of how they turned out as well. Here we've got Ewok glider. Gonna drop some stones on some stormies and scout troopers there. In the back we have a Ewok gonna take a crack at him too. Here we've got a stormtrooper tossing an Ewok just like in the movie. Here again the scout walker, he's taking a shot at the Ewoks as they run away. And you notice that everything is really messy, and that was something I tried to shoot for. I mean, broken stumps, you know, leaning trees with moss. You know, that was important because forests are messy. Here we go. We've got a scout trooper shooting a rebel trooper right in the face. And I tried to make sure everybody kind of was getting their butts kicked equally. Ewoks were getting shot at, you know. Rebel troopers. Here we've got stormtrooper. He's taking a shot, and he pegged R2. R2's freaking out. Looks like Leia already took her shot to the arm. Got some dead stormtroopers. And here we've got, of course, the biker chase, the bike chase. Got an Endor trooper there at the top. Here we got The rebel trooper returning the favor in kind. So they're battling for the weapon. He's just gonna take a shot at whoever he can there in the back. Just, again, the trees, just really happy with those. Pine trees as well. And of course we have to have an Ewok thumping on the foot of an ATSD. Love the background too. It really, really makes the diorama pop. Here we've got some Ewoks. I'm going to put a grizzly in to some Imperial troops. And in terms of the explosions as well, they're kind of washed out here on camera. They're much more colorful and not as bright in real life. So I'm very happy with how they turned out again. On camera they don't look as good. But I'll have some pictures here at the end. Maybe they might show up a little bit better. And again, these guys are taking a shot from the ATST here. So that's it. Again, it was a great project to work on. I was very fortunate that I had the time to do it. Something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I appreciate it. This has been a long video, but there's a lot of detail. I hope you gained some information from it. I hope if this is something you want to attempt at home, you've got enough information now to make one of these for yourself. Because that's really, I mean, that's what these videos are about. That's what the community is about. Just making cool stuff, sharing it, and sharing the how-to of it all. Thank you to all the diorama YouTubers out there, Budget Jedi, some of you guys out there. Been real inspirations for me. And again, put any comments or questions in the comment section below. I do hope to put some more diorama videos up. So feel free to subscribe if you'd like to add updates on further videos. But again, thanks so much for watching. If you made it all the way through, I really appreciate it. And I'm going to leave you with some pictures. So, hey, have a great day, and we'll see you at the next video.
Here's the terminal.
R2, where are